Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
To customize the appearance of the layout view of a PDF portfolio, open a portfolio and then click the Layout View button that appears in the toolbar at the top of the PDF portfolio window, and then click the Edit button found in the same toolbar. Then click the Layout button at the right end of the toolbar at the top of the window to display the layout pane within the task pane. To change the layout style of the portfolio, you can click a preset layout choice shown within the Portfolio Layouts panel in the Layout pane. Different layouts display the files in your portfolio in different ways. The Visual Themes panel contains buttons that change the visual theme of a portfolio. You can choose from several preset themes, or you can click the Import Custom Theme button to launch an open dialog box so you can select an SWF file on your computer that contains a custom theme. Now, to change the color scheme of the portfolio, you would click a preset color palette shown in the Color Palettes panel. To create your own custom color palette, click the Create from Existing button to display the color used by your current color palette selection for the categories shown. Click a category to display the current color above. Then use the vertical slider to the right to change the color shown in the large color block. Then click in the large color block shown to set the specific hue of that color. Note that you can also enter a hexadecimal color into the field for each category shown in order to enter a color value. Then click the Save button at the bottom of the panel to save your color palette as a custom palette shown within the panel. You can click the small X that appears next to the custom color palettes in this panel to delete a custom color palette. To change the background and its appearance, click the Background panel in the Layout pane within the Task pane. To change the background color, click the Color cube in the upper left corner of this panel and then select a color from the drop-down menu. You can apply a Fill style by making a choice from the adjacent drop-down menu. If you select a choice that contains a gradient from this drop-down, then you can use the Gradient Intensity slider to set the dark and light balance in the gradient. Now, to set a background image, make a selection from the Background Image drop-down. To apply a new image, select the Choose New choice in the drop-down menu to open a Select Background Image dialog box. Use the dialog box to find an image to use and then click it to select it. After selecting it, click the Open button in the dialog box to add it as the background image. Now, after you've added a background image, you can use the Image Scale and Image Position drop-down menus, as well as the Image Opacity and Image Blur sliders to adjust the look of the background image. The Portfolio's Properties panel allows you to change the font face used by the file preview cards and also often adjust the size of the preview cards themselves, depending on which specific layout was selected. To add a header to a PDF portfolio, click into the header section of the portfolio when editing the layout view to display the Header Properties panel in the Layout pane of the task pane. You can then choose the type of header template to apply by making a selection from the Templates drop-down. To add your own custom header items, you would select the Custom choice in the drop-down menu. Otherwise, if you select Simple Text, a large text box will appear in the header section. Double-click the text box to place it into editing mode, and then type the text that you want to have appear within the header. Note that the Text Field Properties panel appears in the task pane with font formatting choices that you can apply to your text field. You can then click into the PDF file when you're finished adding the text. You can then click the text field once to select it and show the Text Properties panel in the text pane. This allows you to use the Anchor drop-down to select an alignment for the text in the selected field. You can also click the Remove button to remove the text field from the header. If you select the Image Only choice from the Templates drop-down, you will see a large image box appear within the header. Click it once to select it and show the Image Properties panel within the task pane. You can click the Choose Image button in the Image Properties panel to open a Select Image dialog box, which you can use to find and select the image file to use. Then click the Open button in the dialog box to add the selected image to the header. You can then use the Image Opacity slider in the Image Properties panel to set the opacity of the header image and use the Anchor drop-down to set the image alignment. You can click the Remove button in this panel to delete the image from the header. You can select the Text and Image choice from the Templates drop-down to add both a text field and an image field into the header. You can click each one to edit and manipulate them, just as you can when selecting either the Image Only or the Text Only choices from the Templates drop-down. If you select the Custom choice from the Templates drop-down, you can manually set the appearance of the header. You can add an image field to the header by clicking the Add Image button in the Header Items section of the Header Properties panel. You can then find and select an image to use in the Select Image dialog box that appears. When you click the Open button within this dialog box, the image file will then be added to the header. You can then click into the header section again to display the Header Properties panel. To add a text field, you can then click the Add Text button in the Header Items section of the Header Properties panel to add a text box to the header. You can then edit and format the text box as just shown, and then click back into the header to display the Header Properties panel again. You can then repeat this process of adding images and text boxes until you've created all of the content that you would like within your custom header. You can set the appearance of the background of the header using the tools in the Background Color section of the Header Properties panel. You can choose a background color by clicking the color cube and then selecting a color from the drop-down. You can apply a background style by choosing one from the adjacent drop-down menu. Now, if you select a choice that contains a gradient, then use the Gradient Intensity slider to set the dark and light balance within the gradient. Then use the Background Opacity slider to set the opacity of the background color within the header. When you are finished customizing the appearance of the layout view, you can then click the Preview button in the toolbar at the top of the PDF portfolio window to display the layout view as users will normally see it, to preview how your changes will appear when a user opens the file.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.